And then rappers, we turned to almost content creators. No
Yeah.
disrespect to content creators,
Yeah.
but it's rappers and there's
Rappers and content
content
creators, like,
creators.
different.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And
What's up, YouTube? It's KayHon, aka KayHon, puts you on in. Today we got a special video, man. We are talking about something that Schoolboy Q just said a month ago. It was a while ago. I've just been sitting on the idea for this video for a long time, but let's get into it. As always, if you like the content, hit me with a like and subscribe. So basically, Elsie, not Elise. She's a content creator. Y'all might know her, makes music content just like I, but probably a little bit higher quality, to be honest, if we're keeping it a stack. She puts a lot of work into her editing. Love her content. She interviewed Schoolboy Q. Crazy interview, rare link up. Link in the description for that video. Great video. Always gonna support. In that interview, which was a month ago, Schoolboy Q said this.
the thing, like, clearly you have to start somewhere. But I think, and then rappers, we turned to almost content creators. No disrespect to content creators,
Yeah.
but it's rappers and
Rappers and content creators, like,
creators.
different.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And we make ourselves so accessible that people feel like they're like they really know us.
That's the
You get
issue.
what I'm
It's like a
saying?
parasocial relationship.
Yeah, and it's like, damn, bro, like, you know what I'm saying?
don't know
So
me.
people are like,
Yeah.
like people are like,
Yeah.
that sometimes they feel
Yeah.
entitled, which,
Yeah.
I guess, but it just makes it weird now because, when the artists do sit back, it's like, oh, you trying to be mysterious. Or you trying to be, it's like, nah, bro, like, motherfuckers got real lives and shit, and like respect like my art and shit. Like when I pop out and I'm a rapper, I shouldn't just be like on fucking social media
All the
just
time.
fucking talking all fucking day when I can
agree.
rap
Yeah.
about
Put it in the
this
music.
shit. Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
some people respect it and some people don't, and some people are all about content.
Yeah. That's
You know what
true.
I'm saying? It's like, hey, that's
Yeah.
what you want. I'm gonna be on it.
Basically was saying that rappers are just content creators now. He said no disrespect, but it definitely felt disrespectful. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if I was sitting in that interview when he said no disrespect, I would have been like, there's a little bit of disrespect, because if you just say they're just content creators, it's like, damn, bro, damn, like, let's calm down, bro, let's calm down. And so I kind of want to talk about that, because I think there is some truth and honesty there, and I also think there's like some things that maybe are misconstrued with the idea of like having to market yourself on TikTok and things like that. So I think what he's mainly talking about is a lot of these rappers have to go and make content. I think that's just a given within the space of music making now. Like, I don't think you have to. I think there's artists like Tommy Richmond, who just blew up, who's been on the come up for a while, just making music, who doesn't need to market himself necessarily. And there's people like Sampha, who like was just underground, kind of like working with a whole bunch of people, but like not necessarily like being a massive artist himself. He's more known for his features and things than I think his albums to the mainstream. But then you have people up and coming currently, like Young Senju. You have Soul Child. You have Lil Reezy, Jay-Eazy, who I think is like probably one of the main people I think in this content creator space, who like successfully did a trend. He made a trend and things like that. And you also have those two girls who kind of like also was inspired by Jay-Eazy's kind of running in his videos, if you ever seen those. And they also blew up just from content creation. I think these are all people who do very, very well, in my opinion, at marketing their music. It's not one-dimensional. It's not rudimentary. I don't know if I pronounced that word right, but it's not like just straightforward. It's not the same thing every time. There's a personalized aspect to it, and they're like, this is the vibe that I have. Here's my music to match it. Here's the thing that I want to talk about. Here's the thing to match it. And I think that when Schoolboy Q is talking about you have to be a content creator, I think this is more of the things that he's talking about, that you have to just be locked in and be an internet personality. My kickback to that, though, like now versus something like the 90s, right? In the 90s, there really wasn't much competition in terms of like, if you were on the come up and you got interviewed by like Source Magazine, you were pretty good. Like, you were kind of good. Like, that's what everybody was focused on. Everybody was looking into. in terms of like to find a new artist. You only had magazines, you had like these different shows that I'll talk about later, you had like other things like that, and not everybody had access to like make an album, right? In the 90s. We're talking about the 90s to early 2000s. Not everybody had access to that. And I think even in Schoolboy Q's era of like 2010s and kind of going upwards, it wasn't as accessible to get into music. I mean, like FL Studio, looking at it back in the day, gang, that was not super accessible. And like the amount of YouTube videos back then versus now on that is just very different. So music still kind of had a high barrier, and especially being in a place like LA, you were just connected to all the people already making music. Like you were already doing that. So I think his perspective on that is kind of just different. I think, and LC kind of talks about that he came up in a different time, kind of defend like artists up and coming now. But I do think it's very interesting that like he views this as kind of like a negative. And I can understand why. I can definitely understand why. I think if you're looking at it from an outsider's perspective, you see a lot of people, they're not focused on their music, they're focused on their marketing. Whereas before it could have been more so your music and then marketing. And you see people have to do trends in order to market their music. They have to have a certain image to market their music, which I think has always been a thing. But even in social media now, image matters a lot. Being kind of like low key, like mysterious, Schoolboy Q talks about that a little bit in this interview as well, is also a factor. There's many things that go kind of into this like social media image that you have to create for yourself that I think can turn people away, especially people from different generations or that came up prior in music. I mean, Schoolboy Q came up in like a blog era. He came up in like Twitter era where like artists were like really interacting with their fans on Twitter and things like that. And you didn't really have all these content creators. You didn't have video people like me popping up. You had more blogs, more written content, more magazines still. And so I think when he looks at it that way, it feels kind of fake. I would say, like, I'm not trying to put words in his mouth. That's just the vibe that I got from this interview. And like from my own perspective, if I was Schoolboy Q looking at this, I would be like, oh, you don't really enjoy music like that. You're just good at being on social media. Or like, oh, content creation seems to be your main priority. You're not really focused on the music. But I think in this day and age, you have to be focused on marketing and you have to be focused on music. And those two things cannot lack now in this day and age. It's so oversaturated, you really don't have a choice. You have to be good at marketing and making music. It's like a different game now. It's like actually crazy. You have to do all these things. Some people make their own music. That's what I was doing for a while. And trying to market their music. It's just a lot to stack on one another, but you have to do that to stand out. It's like Lil Reezy's content is great because his videos are so high quality and it's eye-catching, and his music's also amazing. And to maintain all those things is just so different now. It's just a different game. One of the critiques that I have as well about like rappers or just content creators. One, a quick note. I think all artists are content creators now. I think all realms of music, you have to be a content creator. I don't think it's specific to rap, and maybe he didn't mean specific to rap, but he just said rappers are content creators now. So I just want to clarify that I think everybody has to create content now, whether you're making the song of the summer and it's a pop smash, whatever, like whether you're doing a country album, like this is for all my country people on tractors today, like you have to market your stuff either way. Like there's so many people making music, you have to be the one to stand out somehow. And I'm not saying that I like this about the industry at all. Like, I don't think that it's enjoyable to also have to market your music in this way, to kind of sell yourself in this way. But I think that's just how it is right now. And it's unfortunate that, like, you have to be good at not only making music, but marketing yourself. It's just a thing that you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta do it. Another retort that I have on the Schoolboy Q, like rappers just content creators, I think the realm or the gateway into getting in front of people is just different. I think that artists back in the day were just TV personalities. That would be my argument for back in the day, like in the 90s and early 2000s. You have all these talk shows. You have like Oprah. You have like David Letterman. You have like Conan. Like these people in the early 2000s that bring artists on to talk, to present your personality, and then play you the music. So what content creation is now. I think you have people like, Arsenio Hall show. He was really early on in bringing on rappers specifically. But another talk show in which you have to present your personality to get people to listen to your music. And I think that was the way that people really got in front of people. And I think that was late 90s and early 2000s for sure. And in Schoolboy Q's era, like we said, was more of a blog. It was just people writing about them. There were interviews in like 2010s to like 2013-ish maybe. Yeah, max 2013. We still had MTV Cribs and stuff. We still had Pimp My Ride. We still had these things that presented artists in front of us. And there's even like famous MTV like kind of documentaries on artists as well. And that was just another way to get in front of people. That was the content creation that they had to do. The content wasn't on your phone, but it was on TV. And you had to you had to participate in that. You had to have a good personality. And that was just a way for people to engage with you, to get in with you. And I think it's interesting that like we have such a negative view on like TikTok specifically, but just content creation in general, whether that's YouTube or like Instagram Reels, whatever. We have a negative connotation, but like this has kind of always been a thing. Now it's just easier to access. Before you had to be an Eminem level person to try to get in front of people. Now you can just be KayHon in your room and just recording yourself, right? Like you can just do that. And I think when a lot of people start doing something, it becomes like kind of corny or kind of like not as impactful as important. But I would argue that like this is still very important. Like you've always had to market yourself, and now that like everyone has to do it, now what separates you from everybody else is just how good you are at doing this. Before it was like having the connects to get to MTV Cribs or get on like an MTV interview, but now it's like, how can I get all these people to listen to me first, just talk, and then get them to like my music off of that? Yeah, that was my main view. I don't think Schoolboy Q is like necessarily wrong. I think a lot of artists are becoming content creators, and I think you just have to. LC also like does a great job in this interview, saying like kind of giving a little bit of pushback, but not too much, which I think is like fair during an interview. But her interview is great. As I said, I'll link it down below. And I'll link all the clips that I put in here down below as well, all the talk shows and everything. But as always, if you guys like the content, hit me a like and subscribe. Quick updates just in general before I head off. Last video did good. Last video was doing good. It was about Mac Miller and why hip hop loves Mac Miller. I didn't think that, like, I really enjoyed making that video. I enjoyed editing it a lot. And I was like, this is probably like one of my better videos. But gang, it did good. It's doing like well, and it's like kind of cool to see like hard work pay off. It doesn't always, which is like just how life works sometimes. But it's really nice when it happens. Gang, I was watching that. I went to sleep last night is when I dropped the video yesterday. I went to sleep 3 views. I wake up, there was like 180. I was like, 180 in like 7 hours, gang? What happened? What happened? And I was just like, okay, cool. But now we're almost at 1,000 in like a day, which is like probably the fastest that's happened for me. Normally it takes like 7 days if it's gonna hit it. But I think hopefully we'll hit 1,000 views within a day. And yeah, so that's really cool. I love the support. I see all your comments always. So I love you guys and appreciate you guys for the comments. Like, that's amazing to me. But as always, thank you guys again. If you like the content, hit me a like and subscribe. And peace out. Be smooth. I love y'all.